I'm Eli Zook, and if you've ever driven past an Amish farmhouse and wondered what's missing from the inside, not what's there but what isn't, this is for you. Because people get Amish homes wrong in two directions. Some think we live like museum exhibits, frozen in time with nothing but candles and wooden chairs. Others think we're secretly modern behind closed doors, hiding gadgets in the back room. The truth is more intentional than both. There are a handful of things Amish families, especially old order families, simply will not allow inside their homes. Not because we're afraid of them, not because we don't understand them, but because a home isn't just shelter. A home is where you shape the people you're raising, and what you let through the door teaches just as much as what you say at the table. So here are 5 things Amish families never allow inside their homes. First, we never allow a television in the house. And I don't just mean we keep it unplugged or hidden in a closet. I mean it doesn't come through the door. Not in the living room, not in the bedroom, not in the basement where the children play. A television brings the world into your home without asking permission. It brings voices that don't share your values. It brings desires that weren't there before. It brings images that children shouldn't see and adults shouldn't want. And most dangerous of all, it brings a rhythm that replaces the rhythm of the family. When a television is in the house, the evening changes. People stop talking to each other because they're watching. Children stop playing because they're staring. The father stops leading because the screen is leading. And slowly, without anyone noticing, the family begins to arrange itself around what's on instead of around each other. Now, I know what people say. They say, "But Eli, you can control what you watch. You can be disciplined." And maybe some people can. But here's what I've learned from watching families outside our communities. Discipline around a television is like discipline around a dessert table. You can have good intentions, but the thing itself is designed to make you want more. So we don't fight that fight, we just don't let it in. And this is where people misunderstand. They think we're scared of technology. We're not. We're careful about what gets to shape our children. There's a difference. Second, Amish families never allow decorative pride inside the home. Now that sounds strange to outsiders because every home has some decoration, but what I mean is this. We don't decorate to impress. We don't fill the walls with things that say, "Look at us, look at what we have, look at how important we are." You won't find family portraits arranged like a gallery. You won't find expensive art chosen to make guests feel small. You won't find rooms designed to perform for visitors. The Amish home is built for living, not for showing. If there's a calendar on the wall, it's because we use it. If there's a clock, it's because we need to know the time. If there's something hanging, it's likely functional or simple, maybe a quote from Scripture, but not as decoration for decoration's sake. And here's why that matters. When your home is built to impress, you start living for the wrong audience. You start caring what people think when they walk in. You start measuring your worth by what's on the shelf. And that kind of thinking creeps into everything. It changes how you spend money. It changes how you talk to your children. It changes what you think success looks like. So we keep the house plain. Not because beauty is wrong, but because pride is dangerous. And we'd rather have a home that feels like ours than a home that performs for strangers. Third, we never allow modern entertainment systems or gaming devices. No video game consoles. No computers set up for entertainment. No devices built to hold attention for hours. And before someone says, "Well, that's just old-fashioned," let me tell you what we've seen. We've seen children who can't sit still. We've seen young men who can't work a full day because their mind is trained for constant stimulation. We've seen families where the father has to compete with a screen just to talk to his own son. These devices aren't neutral. They're built to hook you. They're designed by people who study how to keep you coming back. And they do it so well that grown men will lose whole evenings to them without realizing it. Now, I'm not saying people who use these things are bad people. I'm saying we've decided the cost is too high. Because once you allow that kind of entertainment into the home, it becomes the easiest thing to turn to. Bored, Play the game. Tired? Watch something. Uncomfortable? Distract yourself. And over time, that pattern makes a person weak. Not weak in body, weak in spirit, weak in the ability to sit with silence, weak in the ability to do something hard when something easy is sitting right there. So we don't fight that fight either. We just don't let it through the door. And what happens instead is that our children learn to entertain themselves with real things. They play outside, they build things, they help with work, they read, they talk. They learn that boredom isn't an emergency that needs a screen to fix it. Fourth, Amish families never allow immodest or worldly clothing inside the home. This one surprises people because they think of it as a public rule. But it starts in the house. We don't keep clothing that draws attention to the body in a way that's meant to attract or provoke. We don't keep clothing that's designed to make someone look more important, more fashionable, or more desirable than they ought to be seen. The clothes we allow in our homes are modest, plain, and functional. And that's not just for Sunday, that's for every day. Because clothing teaches. When a daughter sees her mother dressed plain, she learns that her worth isn't tied to how she looks. When a son sees his father dressed the same way every day, he learns that consistency matters more than trends. And when the whole family dresses in a way that reflects humility, the home itself begins to feel like a place set apart. Now, people hear this and think we're obsessed with rules. We're not. We're obsessed with identity. We're asking a simple question: who are we? And the answer is, we're a people who don't live for the approval of the world. We don't dress to be seen. We dress to belong. And that belonging starts in the home, where no one is performing, where no one is trying to stand out, where everyone is dressed like they're part of the same story. That's why the clothing rule isn't just about fabric. It's about what you're teaching when you get dressed in the morning. Fifth, Amish families never allow a spirit of complaint or disrespect to settle in the home. And I know that sounds less tangible than a television or a video game, but it's just as important, maybe more. Because you can keep every dangerous object out of your house and still lose your children if you let the wrong spirit take root. In an Amish home, children are taught early that complaining is a form of pride. It's saying, I deserve better than this. I shouldn't have to do this. This isn't fair. And when you break it down, complaint is really just a refusal to accept your place in the order of things. So we don't allow it to grow. When a child complains, it's corrected, not harshly, not with anger, but firmly. Because if you let a child grow up thinking complaint is normal, you're raising someone who will never be satisfied, someone who will always feel cheated, someone who will spend their whole life measuring what they have against what they think they deserve. And that's a miserable way to live. The same is true for disrespect. We don't allow children to speak to their parents with contempt. We don't allow them to mock authority. We don't allow them to treat the family like it's something they can just criticize and walk away from. Because respect isn't about fear. Respect is about recognizing that you're part of something bigger than yourself. And when you lose that, you lose the whole structure. Now, does that mean Amish homes are perfect? No. We're human. We fail. We get frustrated. We make mistakes. But the goal is always the same. Keep the home a place where the right things can grow. And that means not allowing the wrong things to take root. Now, I want to add something that ties this whole list together. People here never allow, and they think it's about control. They think it's about fear. They think we're trying to keep our children in a bubble. But that's not it. We're not trying to control everything. We're trying to protect something. And what we're protecting is the ability for a family to stay a family. Because the world outside is full of voices, full of desires, full of distractions. And if you let all of that into your home without any boundaries, your home stops being a home. It becomes just another place where the world gets to you. So when we say we don't allow certain things inside, we're not saying those things are evil in every context. We're saying they don't belong in the place where we're raising our children. We're saying our home has a purpose. And that purpose is to shape people who know who they are, who know what they believe, and who know how to live without needing constant entertainment, constant approval, or constant distraction. If you came here expecting a list that makes Amish families look strange, I'll give you something better. A list that shows how we stay grounded. Because after decades of saying no to the things that scatter attention, that feed pride, that replace conversation, that weaken discipline, and that teach children to live for themselves, what you get is a home that actually feels like a home. Not a showroom, not an entertainment center, not a place where everyone is distracted and alone together, but a place where people know each other, where they work together, where they eat together, where they sit in the same room and actually talk. And that kind of home, the kind where people aren't just living under the same roof but actually living together, that's rarer now than it's ever been. So if someone asks me why Amish families are so strict about what comes through the door, I'll tell them this. We're not strict because we hate the world. We're strict because we love our families. And we've learned that if you want to keep something precious, you have to be willing to say no to everything that threatens it. That's not fear. That's wisdom.